Before we get into this, I want to talk about how much this is going to cost you and what you're going to need to buy in materials if you're trying to build the exact same ramp as me. So I'll have a little thing up here on screen, 2x6s, 2x4s, and a sheet of plywood. So it'll be like the exact amount of what you would need to build this. So the price and materials to build one is $150 to $170. Now that all depends on what kind of wood you buy, how much wood you buy. If you buy less, or if you're trying to build this ramp just on a smaller scale, you'll spend a lot less. I would go to Home Depot because lumber's the cheapest there. If you go to Lowe's, it's a little bit more expensive, and if you go to somewhere like Ace, you're getting completely bent over and So what I want you guys to do is get your two 2x6s, lay them out just like this. Cut 2 boards to 30 inches, which grand total will be 33 inches from end to end. Slip them inside, not on the outside. Okay, so after you get your frame bolted together, next step, get your 4.5 foot boards, so 54 inches, cut them. So once you get these 2 bolted in, you're gonna need these shim pieces, and they're just gonna sit at the top like this. You get it all together, it'll look like this.
Forgot to add this crossboard is 27 inches.
Put your shim in. Now the next step is putting on the next 2x6. It's gonna go all the way down. Okay, the ramp should look like this. I have 1 screw at the top, 1 at the bottom. So after you get your 2x6s strung up, you're gonna wanna put some supports in the bottom here where this is still open. It's gonna make it easiest. These are all 30 inches. Up top, we're gonna be going every foot, so I don't really think you're gonna have to worry too much about your bottom half. So the next step is to do the cross beams on the upper frame. We got our beams put in, and I built this on the end. Okay, I want to explain the bottom half here and how I made this. So this is just gonna support the bottom half of your plywood from snapping. I built a lot of these. Trust me, this is a huge problem with all of them. So these are cut at 21 inches, every single one. You're gonna wanna put 2 bolts in, then 1 bolt on the bottom frame. Obviously make sure this is touching to put that bolt in. Then down here, make sure it's touching the ground. So this board is optional. This is a 33-inch board, so same as the entire top frame, all of our crossboards. So, and how I did these is I just went every single foot. So there are 12 of these.
Forgot to add crossboards cut at 33 inches.
As you go down here I doubled them up. So this is pretty simple. These are for your supporting legs going all the way down the ramp. You're going to need to put a shim in. This shim is, I believe, let me get a tape. Okay, so you're gonna need to get 8 of these shims. They are 5.5 foot. So cut these to 5.5 foot. They're just tiny blocks that you're gonna put in. They're gonna be your shims. Then you grab your legs, bolt them against it like so, and then you can bolt it together at the bottom. Pretty self-explanatory. You won't have to do it on the bottom, just on the top. Okay, so this is how I'm gonna explain it to you. We're gonna put a board right before 2 feet at 19 to 22 inches. That's where I'm putting it. Anyways, you just wedge it against the bottom frame board. So the ones that sit on the bottom here. Then we're pretty much from that point, we're gonna go every 3 feet at 43 to 47 inches. Again, wedging along the bottom board here. So I have none of these screwed in yet, but I'm just kind of trying to show you an example of how to do it. So 3 feet from there, 77 to 81 inches, wedging it between the bottom board down here. Last one, 115 inches to 119 inches, wedging between that bottom board down there. So everywhere I showed you there is where we're gonna put a leg, a leg, a leg, a leg. And I'm gonna show you the heights of each board too, once I get to the point of screwing them in. I have all the legs bolted in. This is 11 inches tall. Hold on, sorry. 19.5 inches tall, 31 inches tall, 44 inches tall. And then all the shims that go in between these are 5.5, so in inches. Top of the leg, 3 screws, bottom of the leg on the outside, 3 screws. You have to go from the inside because you can't get through the shim and the 2x6. You can see I cracked my board. Try not to crack your boards. So when you put the shim in, use smaller screws, less risk of breaking your shim. We are all set. It's just time to put plywood on it. One quick tip, if you're gonna leave this out in the hills, you're building it to go out in the hills with and leave it, put 2 sheets of plywood on it, and I recommend putting a carpet or a rug on it because your knobby tires will pack in dirt. When you hit this, you'll slide out completely on it. It's just like when you get your tire filled with dirt and then you ride it on a concrete, it slides all over the place for a few minutes. It'll happen, same thing will happen here. Okay, I have all my plywood cut. I'm bolting it in now. But I'm going to show you guys what to do connecting this sheet to the next sheet. I recommend putting in a board flat instead of vertical, flat. And by putting it flat, you can screw in here. Otherwise, this would be an extremely weak point and it would snap. You can cut this board up here and it will fit up nicely. And you have something to screw it to. So the ramp is now completely done. So I did 2 sheets of plywood. I wasn't going to. And then I decided last second to. If you're using it for pit bikes or a different purpose, 1 sheet is totally good. Because with us having a board every foot going up, we are structurally sound. Whatever the male end of that hitch is, I'm going to be buying and putting on the end of this. And I'm putting wheelbarrow axles on the other end so it can be towed with this 4-wheeler. So I wanted to talk about the hitch setup that I'm going to do and how I'm going to be able to tow this ramp. So what's up on the screen right now is called a tow bar. So these are used for cars. You bolt them in essentially where the bumper's at. RVs commonly do them to tow, cars down the road. Anyways, I found the cheapest, cheesiest one I could possibly find because this is going to be overkill for what we got going. So I'm buying this, and the ends are adjustable, so they move out like this. And there's 2 holes on either beam that move in and out, right? So they come with nuts and bolts. So essentially, I'm going to put a 2x4, drill out 4 holes, and put the nut and bolt through with 2 big washers, essentially. The front face on, I guess the highest point of the ramp, you have the 2 legs that it sits on. So 1 back from that, I'm going to essentially put this 2x4 across with the nuts and bolts to hold it. And then the front beams, this other 2x4 will be resting on the tongue to help support it. So that's how I'm going to do the front end of it to make it towable. And then the 4-wheeler has a hitch that I got for it. Now I'm going to explain how we're doing wheels. So I'm buying a kit that is to replace axles on a wheelbarrow. I'm going to buy 2 of them, 2 of the single wheel wheelbarrows. And the reason why is because it's going to be stronger than 1 solid axle. I just worry about it bowing in the middle. But since wheelbarrow wheels already mount off of a wood frame, it's going to make it super easy. It's just a nut and bolt, and we're going to drill through a 2x4 up underneath the ramp, and I'll have it kind of tucked up under there. When you want to go hit the ramp, just dig a little hole in the dirt and roll it in there. And you won't, even if it's sticking up an inch, you're not going to notice it with how big that ramp is. I'm hoping this works. You guys will probably hear back from me in at least a week or a week and a half. So, deuces.